Samson. Nancy Pelosi is a prominent American politician. She is the first female Speaker of the United States House of Representatives. She was first elected to Congress in 1987 and has held office since then. She is an influential and powerful figure in the Democratic Party and has been a leader in citizen civil liberties. She has been vocal on issues of healthcare, human rights, and the environment, and has been a leader in pushing for sweeping reform of the healthcare system. Pelosi is a fierce advocate for empowering women. She has played an important role in the passage of legislation such as the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act of 2009, which aims to combat gender pay inequality in the workplace. Pelosi is committed to fighting poverty and works to ensure that low-income households have access to the American dream. She has championed initiatives that assist homeless and disadvantaged Americans. Pelosi is an advocate for smart investments in infrastructure that will create jobs and help drive economic growth. Her economic initiatives have included help in addressing the current public debt, expanding access to affordable health care, and addressing the crisis of global climate change. Pelosi has been a fierce critic of what she perceives as President Trump's dangerous and misguided policies and has been a leader in keeping him accountable. She is a vocal advocate for the rule of law and has spoken out against attempts to undermine the independence of the judiciary. She is a champion for religious freedom and has been a vocal opponent of the travel ban enacted by the Trump administration. Pelosi is a strong supporter of LGBTQ rights and has fought for legislation that protects the civil rights of same-sex couples. Pelosi is a vocal opponent of budget cuts to programs which protect seniors, such as Social Security and Medicare. She has served on the House Committee on Appropriations and has voiced her opposition to President Trump's proposed cuts to social programs. Pelosi is a leader in the movement to protect dreamers who are at risk of deportation in the face of the current immigration crisis. She has fought to ensure these young people remain in the U.S. and can pursue their educational and career dreams. She is a tireless champion for education reform and has been a leader in increasing access to early childhood education and supporting infrastructure investments in higher education facilities. Pelosi is a strong supporter of job creation and economic opportunity for all Americans. She has pushed for investments in job training, education, and infrastructure which will create employment opportunities in the future. Pelosi supports increased access to business capital and resources for small businesses, so that Americans can start their own businesses and have the opportunity to achieve their own economic success. Pelosi is a strong proponent of a strong national defense and improved strategies for combating terrorism and protecting the American people. She has pushed for legislation which increases military spending while ensuring that money is spent responsibly. Pelosi is an advocate for government transparency and has advocated for the public disclosure of financial records associated with government officials. She has also been a strong opponent of dark money in politics. Pelosi has been a leader in passing landmark financial reform legislation and has been a vocal advocate for consumer protection. She has pushed for regulations to rein in Wall Street banks and protect everyday Americans. Pelosi has long been a champion for civil rights and has supported the ratification of the Mexican-American Water Treaty. She has been a vocal advocate for immigration reform and has proposed comprehensive immigration reform legislation. Pelosi has been a strong supporter of freedom of the press and the right to a fair and impartial trial. She has vocally opposed bills which weaken media freedoms and judicial oversight which could put citizens at risk. Pelosi has been a vocal opponent of the NRA's and other gun lobbies' political influence and has worked to enact common-sense measures to curb gun violence in the U.S. Pelosi is a strong supporter of veterans' rights and has been a vocal advocate for their health care and other benefits. She has also worked to ensure that veterans are properly respected and recognized for their service. Pelosi has played a key role in the fight against climate change and has pushed for legislation that will reduce coronavirus emissions and protect the environment. She is a passionate supporter of animal rights, particularly those of endangered species. She has supported legislation aiming to protect wildlife and the conservation of biodiversity. Pelosi has worked to ensure federal agencies are held accountable for protecting consumers. She has sponsored legislation which would expand oversight of predatory lenders and increase consumer protection. She is a strong supporter of renewable energy and has been a leader in pushing for commitments from major corporations to reduce emissions. Pelosi is a staunch advocate of American global leadership and has been a vocal proponent of international cooperation, increased diplomatic ties with our allies, and international peace initiatives. She champions efforts to promote freedom across the globe and has been a vocal opponent of human rights abuses in countries such as Saudi Arabia and China.